Welcome back, everyone. This is Ariana Lopez again. Thank you for joining me as we continue to modify our environment to take advantage of the AWS IoT Credential Provider private endpoint. And so the next step we're going to take is to actually modify the proxy server. One, we're going to remove the entry in the filter file that we created on our proxy server. I'm going to comment that out. And so we will do that now. So I'm going to go to EC2. Select proxy, hit connect. We're going to again use the session manager like we did in the other video. And I'm going to sudo. Okay, so now I'm going to cd into the tinyproxy directory. And I want to go to the filter file. So vi filter. And you can see here we had a couple things that we were using the proxy server for. I am going to comment out the middle line. And this, as you can see, matches the credential endpoint URL that we had earlier and that we created for our Route 53 entry. So because we are using the private endpoint, we no longer need to use the proxy server for this. So I'm going to insert, comment that out. I'm going to exit out of here, save it. All right, the next step we have to do is we have to restart tinyproxy. So service, restart. Oops, wrong way. Sorry, system, CTL. Restart tinyproxy. And if we do a status, you can see it is not running and it matches my timestamp. So we are good here. So I'm going to go back to the instances. Now what we need to do is we need to update our Greengrass device. And so for this one, I'm going to act like this is a brand new Greengrass device. And so sudoing here. I'm going to go to the YAML file. And what we want to do is look at the config.yaml. So here you can see we still have our IoT credential endpoint value here. That's not going to change. What we're going to update here, though, is a no proxy addresses. So here we need to specify that we do not want to use a proxy server to access the credential endpoint. So we're going to copy that. And again, this is a new device. So what I'm going to do is just modify the no proxy addresses. So I'm going to insert it here. And then we're going to save it. Okay, and then we're going to run cd get out of here, and then we're going to run this command. And again, I'm following the instructions like I did in the previous video series for installing the AWS IoT Greengrass core software with installing with manual provisioning. And I'm on the last step that says install AWS IoT Greengrass core software. So this is the command they have you run after you've set up your configuration file. So I'm going to press enter. All right, so now let's go to the logs. We're going to we're going to read the Greengrass log. Oh, I don't want to do VI, I want to do less. I am all the way at the bottom. So let's take a look. And you can see here we have the Greengrass credential request handler received IAM credentials that will be cached until November 16th. And I don't see any error messages, so we are good here. Now, to show that the proxy server is no longer being used, I'm going to switch back over and we're going to go to the logs. So we're going to go to CD, var log, tiny proxy, ls, go to vi tiny proxy, log. Oh, I want to do less. Go to Shift G to go all the way down. And you can see here, there is no line saying connecting to the credential endpoint. So now we are using the VPC endpoint of the private VPC endpoint for the credential provider. And so we are no longer using the proxy server. So another way to test to ensure that we're not going through the proxy server and actually using our new private VPC endpoint for the credential provider is to mess with one of our deployments. So in this case, what we're going to do is we are going to go into the Greengrass console. We are going to add a component that we actually created in one of our other videos in the proxy video series that I did earlier. It's called test authentication. And so what we're going to do now is go into the Greengrass console. We will go to deployments. And here you'll see my Greengrass Core 4 device. That's the device I'm currently on. Click on that and we are going to revise. So actions, then click on revise. So we're going to next, and I want to deploy this test authentication video component. So we're going to select that. Next, make sure we select test authentication video again, go to next, and we're going to go to next. And then we're going to hit deploy. So this component was one that I created in the previous video series. We're just going to reuse it again here because I want to show you that you can also verify that we aren't using the proxy server by redeploying. And so the credential should be going through the credential endpoint that we created earlier. So we're going to wait for this to come back up. It's going to take a minute or two. All right, so it succeeded. So we're going to go back to our Greengrass device. We're going to do a list. You can see we have our test authentication video log. We're going to go into that. And we're going to go all the way to the end of the file. And you can see here, we have all of our S3 buckets listed here. So this is very good. If we go up, let's see, can we see anything else? Oops, wrong way. Yep, so this was successful. It did exactly what we wanted it to. And so now we're going to hop back on the proxy server and we're going to check out the logs here. And we are going to go less tinyproxy.log. And you can see here, oops, let's go Shift G all the way at the bottom. And again, you can see there is no sign of the credential endpoint here. So we are definitely using our private VPC endpoint for the credential provider. All right, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for joining me again. I really appreciate it. I hope you learned something new, and happy building.